Hey guys, Dusty here. Today I'm going to be giving my first impressions review of the ASICS Glideride. So we'll start with the basic stats, then we'll go over the upper, the midsole, the outsole. We'll talk about what makes this shoe special, and lastly, what I think about it. Okay, so the ASICS Glideride has a stack height of 31 millimeters in the rear, 26 in the forefoot, for a heel to toe drop of 5 millimeters. It's a pretty heavy shoe. My men's size 8.5 weighs in at 9.85 ounces, or 279 grams. The upper on the Glideride is an engineered mesh. It seems to breathe well, just like almost all of ASICS other shoes. The heel counter in this shoe is extremely sturdy. There's a ton of padding in this heel collar as well. The tongue is not gusseted, and it is fairly thick. I haven't had any issues so far with it moving around side to side. And if we move on to the midsole, ASICS is using their Flight foam. This foam is a little bit on the firmer side. There's a lot of this foam, but it certainly isn't soft. So I just reviewed the ASICS Nimbus Lite 2, and that shoe feels quite a bit softer than this one. And the ASICS Nova Blast, which uses Flight Foam Blast as their midsole, that shoe is much softer than the Glideride. So quite a bit of foam in the shoe. I would say it's more on the firm side than the cushion side. Now we move on to the outsole, and there is a ton of rubber. There is this channel through the middle as well, which might help the shoe weigh a little bit less. And then in the forefoot here, there's actually an EVA plate, so that makes this shoe super stiff, and it's just going to enhance the Guidesole technology, or the toe-off or rocker feel that this shoe is really well known for. Oh, and of course, being an ASICS shoe, there is some gel in the heel. I'm not sure I feel it, I'm not sure you'll feel it, but being an ASICS shoe, of course, they gotta have the gel. Okay, so basic stats out of the way, let's talk about what makes this shoe special. So you might have noticed that this shoe has a very prominent curve upward, and that is something ASICS done that's called their Guidesole technology. If you're familiar with Hoka, it's kind of like their meta rocker. However, running in the Glideride, I would say it's even more pronounced of a rocker feel than it is in Hoka shoes. I would actually put this shoe on par with maybe the Hoka Carbon X, which has quite a pronounced rocker feel to it. I would say it's pretty similar in the Glideride. So if you're not used to a shoe that has a rocker feel to it, this might feel a little bit unnatural to you. I know the first time I wore a shoe that had a big rocker feel to it, it felt unnatural to me, but it is something that some of you may get used to and some of you may really start to like. ASICS has said that they've moved the center of mass in the shoe closer to the rear, and that's just going to help you swing your leg forward a lot easier. ASICS has also said that this shoe is going to limit your lower leg movement, limit your ankle flexion. So those of you that might have some ankle issues, you could look at the Glideride as an option. Now this is a neutral support shoe, but if I hadn't known that when I had done my first run in this, I might actually say that this is a stability shoe. This shoe, for being a neutral support shoe, has a ton of support and stability to it. This heavily structured heel counter really locks your heel in nice and tight, and then just the way they've constructed this midsole, I didn't feel like my foot was pronating inwards at all in this shoe. So if you're someone who has some pronation, I think you're going to be just fine in the Glideride. Okay, so what did I think of the Glideride? I really like this shoe. This is probably going to be one of my go-to daily high mileage daily trainers, and I'm probably going to use it mostly for long runs. It's probably a little bit too heavy for me to consider doing like tempo work or some speed work, but I have no issues wearing a heavier shoe when it comes to a long run, and the shoe doesn't feel that heavy when it's actually on your foot, and this shoe does feel rock solid. It's very stable when I'm running in it. It offers my foot a ton of support, and it's because of the rocker feel, it's really easy to just cruise along at an easy or even a steady pace while I'm running. As far as life of this shoe, you should have no problems getting 500 miles or over 800 kilometers out of this shoe. This shoe has been out for quite a while now, and I think that's kind of on par with what other people have been getting as far as life of their glide rides is concerned. And this shoe for me might actually replace my Hoka Carbon X. The Hoka Carbon X is a lighter shoe, but it's not a carbon plated shoe that I would personally race with. I know the Carbon X was designed more for a race day shoe, but I really like using it as a daily trainer. And this had such a similar feel and maybe a little bit more support than the Carbon X, and it's cheaper. I would probably choose the Glideride over the Carbon X for myself at least. So for those of you that have ran in the Carbon X, the shoe feels pretty similar. It's a little bit heavier. It won't be as snappy as that shoe. But if you're looking for a high mileage daily trainer that has a really cool, fun rocker feel to it, check out the Glideride. Now I'm actually publishing this video right as the Glideride 2 is being released, which means this one here will probably be on sale. It originally retailed for 200 Canadian or 150 US. But I'm sure if you're watching this video now and this is still available, you'll be able to get this at a discount. So I'll try to put links down below to the US and Canadian sites if this shoe's on sale so you can check it out. And if you have a Glideride, let me know what your thoughts of it are down below. And like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.